Okay, I wanted to start today. I wanted to recap a little bit of what we went over yesterday. So I wanted to bring this live to you today just to recap a few of the things that we talked about communication. And the first thing we did yesterday was to define what communication is. And communication, Webster defines communication as the successful conveying of ideas and feelings. And I added into that our needs as well. So I wanted to recap some of the things there. So that would be the first thing. So we defined what communication was. And then I shared one of the times that I asked that question, somebody told me their definition of communication was it's nonsensical bullshit. And I kind of agreed with that because I think most of the times when we communicate, we're not sharing in a way that makes sense. We don't share in a way that leads us or the other person to get our needs met. So sometimes it can be nonsensical. We can have a need for connection, a need for respect, a need for love, a need for excitement. And if we're not getting that, sometimes you may be able to relate to this. We can get angry. If we don't get that for so long, it builds up. We get angry, and then we respond in a way that actually limits us from being able to have our needs met for these things that we desire. We have a need for connection that's not met for so long that we don't know how to communicate. And it's normal for us to do this, and we don't get it, and finally we blow up and say, listen, if you don't give me some attention and connection, like, I'm just, I'm going to show you. So this happens a lot. And so it's like incongruency in our communication that makes it so difficult. Because what we want and how we ask for it, they don't connect. It doesn't help us to get what we want and need. So the way that we ask for things, a lot of times we don't ask in a very effective way. And over time, that builds up, us not getting our needs met, whatever that is, for connection, respect, appreciation, adventure. And after a while, it builds up and we respond by being angry, yelling. And that actually limits us even more from getting our needs met. And this is kind of the underlying thing of communication. The underlying code in communication is the way that we say things doesn't help us to get our needs met. The way that we communicate actually makes it more likely that we won't get our needs met. So I want to recap and maybe give you just a couple ways that you can help get in connection with what it is that you really need and being able to share that from a space of understanding and being able to share that from a space of compassion. Because I think the big thing that happens in communication is when we communicate from a space of fear, or we communicate from a space of anger, or we communicate from a space of I'm not getting my needs met, then we limit our chances of getting our needs met when we come from this place of fear, anger. And it's normal. We all experience this when we don't get our needs met in our relationship. And we respond with these feelings of, I can't believe this person isn't meeting out my needs, and the feeling of fear, the feeling of, most of the time, anger and fear. So when we communicate from this place of anger and fear, it limits us from getting our needs met and from the other person getting their needs met as well. So what can we do to help get our needs met is first to understand what are our needs. What are your needs? You get a pencil and a piece of paper and really sit down. What is it that I need? If we can get clear about what that is, that's the first step. Also, something we talked about yesterday that I wanted to recap is how our past experience in childhood, in adolescence, how those experiences, when we tried to express ourselves to get our needs met, they weren't met. Actually, we were met with judgment, and we were met with punishment when we tried to get our needs met. As a little child, maybe we had crayons and we decided, hey, we're going to be creative. We're going to meet our need for creativity. Not that we're thinking this consciously, but we start drawing on the wall and our parents say, no, that's bad, that's wrong, don't. We learn that expressing our needs can bring punishment and judgment. So we learn how to suppress those things. So that's something else we talked about yesterday. We kind of get we kind of learn through our childhood when we express ourselves and our needs aren't met, or we're punished for having needs, we're punished for expressing ourselves in a certain way. We get punished and told that that's wrong and bad. After so long, we believe, hey, well, my needs aren't important, so we don't ask for them. I think that's one of the biggest things in our relationships is we've been taught to suppress our needs to please others. And maybe you can think of a time when this was true. So identifying our needs and being able to share those from a place of understanding and compassion can help us to get those needs met. Because anytime that we communicate from a place of judgment or fear or anger, it's gonna challenge us to get our needs met, and it may even have the exact opposite effect. So I really want to touch on that a lot, because if we're coming from communicating from a space of everybody's doing the best that they can, it helps everyone get their needs met. If we communicate from a space of this person is not meeting my needs and the way they're behaving is wrong and bad, then it's from a place of judgment, and it limits us and them from getting their needs met. So this isn't a judgment from me. It's just this is a reminder to remind us to be conscious of how we communicate and what's happening in a relationship when conflict comes up. And a reminder, am I being compassionate right now? Am I being understanding? Am I being loving? Or am I coming from a place of judgment and anger and fear? And I think that's the basis for our communication. If it's effective, then it comes from a place of love and compassion. And it comes from a place of understanding. And that's how we get our needs met and help others to meet their needs. So I just wanted to recap a couple of these things. One, to help you to be able to get your needs met in your relationship. And two, to get clear, help you get clear, and also to help me get clear. Yesterday was a challenge. I was planning on using my computer and I ended up using my phone, so it was a bit of a challenge. So I wanted to come back on here and try to help be a little more clear of what the message that I wanted to bring to the table and talk about. If you have any questions about this or anything else, you want more support on this, or you want just to have a conversation, reach out, send me a message, reply to this. Anything that you want to talk about, I would love to talk about with communication, your relationship, helping you to get your needs met, where your challenges are, what you're strong in. Anything you'd love to talk about, I'd love to talk to you about it, because I want to learn how to better serve your needs. So thank you for showing up, and thank you for, if you're watching this on a replay, thank you for watching the replay. And I want to thank you again. Have a great day and enjoy yourselves, and may all your relationships be fun and fulfilling. Thanks. Take care.